Alright guys, welcome to my first impressions of New World. I thought that this was as good a place of any between two ferns here to talk about the game. I'm doing it one take as always, so thanks and welcome and much love. So, first of all, I have to say that the game is incredibly gorgeous, man. Like, just moving around in the environments, seeing everything. And in fact, I've noticed in a lot of my videos, there's like so much going on visually that image compression software has like a tough time on YouTube picking things up. And so videos and stuff look a little less quality than what you're looking at actually playing the game, I think, on YouTube. But this game is incredibly gorgeous, man. And in fact, it's one of the biggest reasons why I couldn't stop playing it this weekend. Like, I tried to stop myself because it is a beta and all the progress is being wiped, but I just couldn't stop walking around doing quests. So whoever was their environmental designer, like, needs an incredible raise. Just look at those beams of light, man. Anyways, I don't have to tell you too much more about that. I think everyone knows that about this game. Let's move on to the combat. What do I think about the combat? A lot of people have had some concerns about the combat. I think it's okay, man. I was reading the forums, and there's like some complaints about, I don't like weapon swapping. And it's like, I don't know. People are so picky when it comes to combat, and I don't know. I think it's definitely got its issues. All right. So what do I think is like the worst part about the combat is, I think when you're doing PvE and stuff, right? It's fine. There's not too much sliding around. But as soon as you get into a fight with another person in melee range, like a human being, not a AI character, you just start sliding past each other a lot. And it's actually really hard to aim and keep up damage melee. I find myself just like getting in there, getting a few shots, you know, and then getting away with this, getting a musket shot off, you know, reloading this, kind of running, and then using, you know, my rapier, to kind of stay in combat for a little bit, stay out, you know. So I kind of dip in and out of melee range just because when I'm in it, it's just such a mess sometimes, especially the battle axe people. Like, they're just kind of running everywhere. Their swings are gigantic. Like, but aside from that, people also are saying it's super simplistic with only 3 abilities. I totally get that too, man. But, you know, dude, the best feeling weapon in the game, hands down, is the rifle. I mean, just look how responsive and cool looking the game is with ranged combat. I mean, I don't know what more you really want in a rifle. So that's why I use it. I think it's like perfectly designed for this game. But, you know, when it comes to melee and other abilities, I find that it's definitely kind of lacking a little bit. If I could have like a couple more skills, or maybe even a magic ability. Oh, hello. Right? I kind of like to dip in and out. I kind of like to get a few shots, and then that rapier ability where I can just zoom away is just really nice, and I can pull out my musket. So there's some synergy between you know, the movement and there's some potential with the skills. I just don't find, I find that I have to use the rapier with the musket because let's look at our skills here actually. Because this scales with dexterity and intelligence, so I could maybe use like a staff with this, and the rapier does the same, so maybe I could use a staff with this. But you're kind of locked in, you know, with your stats here. And I'll show you my stats right now. Like, I just pumped everything into dexterity, and I don't really think Constitution I'm just getting from my items here. Maybe I did put 5 points on. I don't know. but like I don't find the attributes too crazy. You know what I mean? I think that I don't really find the necessity with them, I guess, if you want to make a hybrid build, but it just seems like I'm going to dump all my points into dexterity. I'm going to dump it all into strength if I go axe. You know, I think it gives you an illusion of choice a little bit, but we'll see. Maybe, you know, I play with it more and come up with a hybrid build, but I'm not really seeing anything too incredibly interesting with the stats. Maybe you could use your items and weapons to fill in certain gaps in your build, but overall, it's a pretty basic system. But you know, I have to say, like I'm having fun with the game despite all these flaws. Second major flaw, other than the combat, is quests. Like everyone is right when they're talking about this, and that the quests are super repetitive. You go to your settlement that you're hanging around. You go to the board or to the PvP guy, and you get your quests. You go out, you do a bunch of them. Hopefully you don't die when you're doing your PvP quests. You bring them back, you get gold. You repeat the same sort of recycled quests until you're high enough level. And in between there, you're kind of doing your main storyline quests. So in the beginning, the main storyline quest kind of brings you to all these towers. You're doing certain things with the corrupted. And it's I personally don't even know what's going on because I didn't spend the time. I was really invested in the systems. Maybe I'll pay more attention to the lore and stuff when I actually play the game at release. But I wanted to get my hands deep and dirty in some of the systems here. And by golly gee, I think that the questing is super boring. But that's why I turn my PvP flag on, you know, because it really gives you the element of surprise when it keeps you on your toes when you're doing, you know, these quests. In the PvP, I have to say, the open world PvP in this game is pretty sweet, especially when you have a rifle. If you spot someone from far away, and check this out, right? You have the prone, which hides your nameplate. So it's harder for them to see you, right? So if I had PvP on and this guy was out here, I could probably hit him with my musket right now. And the range with the musket, especially with the skill that decreases drop-off and fall-off range, you can hit people from far away, and it really feels like, you know, you're hunting someone down. You know, there is, you know, the issue of higher level players just hanging out in areas, but you know, if you put a campfire down, I haven't had any problems completing quests because I was getting killed over and over again. If you're smart and you put a campfire down, you know, I just think that this game would be incredibly boring to play without the PvP flag on, personally, because I would be doing the same quests. I wouldn't be engaged in any fun PvP combat in between the quests. But if you want to grind, you can grind with the PvP flag off and just do, you know, PvE quests and resource gathering. So I think there's a lot of cool stuff, but I mean the open world combat's fun, but because the world is so open and vast, you're not constantly running into people like in Albion Online or other games like that. It doesn't happen as much as I thought it would. A lot of people have their flag turned off. I don't know if that'll change for the beta. Maybe people will change their minds and be like, all right, now that I've figured out the game mechanics and the beta, and when at game release, I'm going to turn my PvP flag on. There'll probably be more people, you know, trying to grief at release. I don't know. Who knows? But I don't think it's much of a problem. I play with PvP on only. I've had a great time with it. Now, the crafting. The crafting is one of the best I normally don't craft in games. Let's see. Look how much crafting I've done. I mean, I'm not. There's people with like level 100 wood cutting and stuff, I'm sure. But I've done just a little bit of everything to see kind of what I want to get into and what I like. And I don't know. I'm figuring out that a lot of it matters. Like cooking cooking is a little bit bigger than I thought it would be. It allows you to make dyes and decent food for when you're out. Gives you bonuses while gathering, stuff like that. There's a lot of cool little items that I think makes every profession fun, unique, and worth it. At no point did I feel like I was wasting my time with crafting like I did in Albion Online. Just because there's so many people that are so much more proficient at it, and it's not even worth it because you can just farm gold and buy everything you need on the auction house. But everything is super expensive. Like I was buying bullets, for instance, in the beginning when I started, and they were like, I don't know, $9 a pop because the first people who got the bullets and made them, put them on the auction house, had no competition, right? And then over the course of the week, it dramatically decreased to about 25.25 gold a bullet. But it wasn't until I made my own bullets that I was like, oh man, now I made 2,500 bullets all at once, and now I don't have to buy them at the auction house. And I saved a lot of money, right? And I managed to make 2.5k gold over the course of the week, and I played probably about 25 hours. So I explored a lot of the crafting and the professions, and I found that, I think to sum it up, is it's really, really fun. The feedback that you get is excellent. Going out and getting the resources doesn't feel like a chore, and every time I craft something, I feel like it's meaningful. Even if it's just to get my skill up, I can then salvage the materials and get repair components back to repair my other gear. So I think it's a necessity to do a bunch of crafting, and I like that, and it feels good to do the crafting. In other games, it feels worthless. I'm glad that they got the system right, and I hope that other MMOs adopt a similar approach. Now, let's talk about the settlements right now. All right, so the game has these settlements, and unfortunately, I wasn't a sweaty enough gamer to get a high enough level to do raids, things like that. But I just want to get, I have to get this out here. And what I think that they could do better, from my perspective, is when you're doing the quests for the settlements, I don't visually see the town progress or how it's helping. I just do it for myself so I can, level up and get money and get my crafting going. But I know that they kind of went away from this with their original approach of the game. I really would love to see more progression in the towns. And I know games like Ashes of Creation are exploring this, but I mean, this game is about going to a land that is undiscovered, building up settlements, towns. I think it's a perfect opportunity to kind of put these really cool community-focused mechanisms into a game like this, where you could really see the town develop and feel like you're contributing to society, right? And here's another idea I had that would make this better. So there's these infested groves, things like this, that kind of pop up around the world. I really think it would be cool if these things spawned enemies and zombies and corrupted that come and attack these settlements. Something like, it could turn into almost like a settlement defense game, in between questing. It would give you a sense that you're actually helping the community to survive out here. But right now, they just feel like these zones where you go, you have storage, you do your quests, you do whatever. And I would really like to see something more with the community aspect. Maybe I'm missing something. If anyone in the comments below can tell me, hey, well, you see, the thing, the crafting stations, they get upgraded, but I don't really see a visual progression. I think they could do a lot more, and maybe they have plans for that, but that's something I would love to see. Now, let's talk about the store, because that was a big controversy before the game here, and I don't know if they're going to add more things in here. But right now I just see some housing items, skins. I have 25k of these for playing the beta, I think. So I can buy some of this stuff, but I haven't seen anything pay to win yet. I really hope that they don't integrate what people were talking about earlier, which was, an instant level cap. I think that would be extraordinarily dangerous to the longevity of the game. I don't really like cash shop things myself, since they don't have a subscription. I think maybe if they only do skins and things that are not pay to win, it may be fine, but you know where that always leads to. It leads to them putting the blue stuff on the market, right? Azurite or whatever this is, Azoth. It's basically Azurite. So this is something that I thought that was going to be in the cash shop, which isn't actually. And this stuff right here allows you to fast travel between towns. And I haven't been using it that much. You can also use it in crafting to improve your chances of getting a better item, things like that. And you find it off mobs, things like that. I'm not sure about this mechanic. I'm kind of skeptical about it. I don't know why they couldn't just use gold as a fast travel mechanic. And why it had to be Azoth. Maybe they didn't want richer players. You could have used gold in a cooldown on the fast traveling. But maybe, I don't know what they're doing with this. I'm a little skeptical. But so far, I haven't really had any troubles getting it. I haven't really used it that much. But we'll see. You can use it to fast travel to certain towns and cities. If you click on a settlement here, you can either recall to an inn, which has an hour, an hour-long cooldown, or you can use this blue juice here, Azoth, to teleport there. So that's another thing I wanted to discuss too. Is people have been talking about walking and how much time it takes, and I don't mind there not being mounts in the game. I think mounts would actually kill this game a lot, because this game also makes you want to not use a mount. I would prefer walking and traversing the land as a rapscallion, swashbuckling, rifleman with a rapier, right? PvP would also, in the open world, would just get decimated. I mean, people would just be riding around on their mounts, shooting their rifles at people. I just don't think it would be that fun. But travel can be a little far sometimes. But there's these corrupted and infested groves. You'll just find people roaming around doing stuff. The proximity chat is amazing for just meeting people. It really does feel like an MMO, which is a low bar, right? As people are saying, for today. And it's great. You made a game, a MMO with the basics, right? But, got to give them where credit's due. It feels great. I think the game plays great. I think it looks great. Now, let's sum up everything here before I just keep rambling about systems and things like that. Is this game going to last, right? I really find, I have to be honest, I think that this game is going to be really, really fun for the first 2 to 3 months max. And then I think it might have... I'm not sure where the maximum goes here, right? I don't know how far I can level progress. And then I don't know how fun the sieges and territory battles are going to be, right? And that's why I think there's a good 400 hours worth of content here, but is this gonna last throughout time? Like, the next World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy? Are people gonna be playing this 10 years later? I don't know. But am I having a really fun time in this game, despite its imperfections right now? Yes, I'm having a great time. And I can't explain it. Like, I didn't want to put the game down this weekend. And by the way, there was an 8-hour server outage time when they were fixing stuff. Well, there's 4 hours like in the middle of the night. I couldn't sleep. I wanted to play. And then 4 hours, I fell asleep. And then I woke up, and apparently it took them 4 hours to get the servers up and running. And then I fell asleep, and I woke up, and it was another 4-hour downtime. So I couldn't play until like 7 p.m. the next day. But you know what? The servers have been running much smoother since that. I'm sure that they're testing things out. People were like angry about it. Like, people are actually already addicted to this game because they're just like complaining on. I've seen a few threads, that's just like, this is ridiculous. Like, it's a beta of a game. Yeah, but they're also Amazon, right? And I don't know why that took so long. I would really like to know why before I judge it. But I've never really seen a beta of a game go down for that long to fix some issues. I mean, the server was crashing. I don't know. Whoa. Hello, sir. I'm standing here. I'm doing a video, and you're chopping trees at me. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of problems they had, but they seem to be resolved. So I have faith that Amazon will be able to keep this game up and running, and I hope at launch that it goes smooth. Because I'm going to be playing on El Dorado. I think US West. And another thing, I've been seeing like people having running issues and stuff on YouTube. I never experienced any of those issues on the US West servers. I watched Joseph Strifehays' video. His character couldn't run properly when he ran straight, so he was running sideways. I never saw any of that. I don't see any. I saw some of Asmongold's videos where he was complaining about things that just seemed like he was playing with 100 people around him, and that's why he was complaining about spawn rates and stuff like that. And it's just like, I don't know, you got to expect that when you have 90,000 people watching you. But I totally understand. I don't want to fanboy or super hype this game up. I think that it has a good 400 hours of gameplay. I don't think it's going to be a long-lasting MMO, but I really, really think that they're pushing the boundaries of the graphics. And the character movement is great. A lot of people are complaining about it, but look at this. Look at this. Like, the sliding, going back. I can... whoops. I don't see the movement. I love how fast the weapon swaps are now, and the combos you can do, like straight into a parry, once they back off, you can take out your musket, fire. The movement feels great, man. It makes up for not having that many skills. But I hope this rant kind of helped you out. My feelings on this game are super positive. I'm going to have fun with this game when it releases. To sum everything up, I think it's not going to be the most longest lasting MMO throughout time. Maybe they, do something grand and massive. I think that the longevity of this game is going to come in with PvP systems, and I really wish that they didn't take such a hard turn to the PvE side. I really wish that they kept it more PvP focused, but I can see why they did that. And MMO, a game isn't for everyone. I don't think that they should change But my personal opinion, I would love to see way more PvP systems in the game, especially full loot stuff, or more loot. Like if there are some areas where there's half loot or full loot, I think that would be super interesting, because I think that the items also, dude, the items, you have your item forever, and I really hope that they introduce something that destroys your items, or you know, a way that you could lose gear, because once you get a piece of gear, it's there with you forever. And in a game with such a good crafting system, I would expect them to introduce some systems where gear gets recycled or used. I mean, it's going to become kind of like the, you know, the vertical gear scaling, where it's just like, all right, I have this now, I just need to get the higher version of it. I don't think that's good for longevity. I think, my personal opinion, to increase the longevity of the game, PvP systems, more loot-based PvP. I mean, they can always crank out PvE stuff, right? Then you're just talking about like a World of Warcraft expansion system, which I think I'm tired of. And there's plenty of other games that will probably do it much better. So I don't know. I think this game has a bright future. I'm going to play it on release. I don't think it's the best game ever created. I think visually it's one of the best, most astounding games I've played in a while. I hope you enjoyed my rantings about this. This was done in one take. As always, much love. I'll catch you on my stream. You can support me by subbing to my YouTube and just coming to my stream and yelling at me. All right, I'm out. Much love.